In this session, we are going to discuss renewable energy applications and scope for research and enterprise. Many a times, students face the problem of choosing their project, which project has to be chosen. They have some interest in renewable energy, but the topic of the project is not clear. So this presentation may help the diploma level students, degree level students, as well as PG students to select their topic of research. Sometimes students also feel to start like a business. So suppose they want to start a small enterprise on their own, like a self-profession, then this presentation may be helpful for them. So let us begin. Renewable energy applications, scope for research and enterprise. The National Solar Mission has set the target of 175 gigawatt of power production from renewables. This target is to be achieved by 2022. So what is the distribution of this 175 gigawatt? The distribution is shown here. Out of 175 gigawatt, 100 gigawatt of solar energy, 100 gigawatt of power will be produced by solar energy. Solar energy means solar photovoltaic power and solar thermal. So the distribution of the division of 100 gigawatt is like this. 20 gigawatt in solar parks, 10 gigawatt in again solar parks, like 30 gigawatt in solar parks. VGF, that is, there is one scheme called viability gap funding. So this 20 and 10, 30 gigawatt includes some percentage of funding through viability gap funding. Then GBR, generation based incentive or generation based initiative. So under this scheme also it is planned to develop some power plants. And then in the regular bundling scheme, under the bundling scheme of solar electricity generation, this target is met. Another this VGF, GBI and bundling of government, this is for private, and then government and states as well as private will go for 30 gigawatt of VGF, GBI and bundling schemes. Solar rooftop is planned 40 gigawatt. So this is how 100 gigawatt of solar power will be produced. Small hydro is 5 gigawatt. Biomass is 10 gigawatt and wind energy is targeted at 60 gigawatt. So by 2022 it is targeted that 175 gigawatt of renewable power will be produced. Now, how energy is obtainable from the sun? We can classify applications of solar energy in two categories. One is direct applications and another is indirect applications. Direct applications use the direct sunlight, and then the devices make use of direct sunlight and then produce power, like power or energy, like solar photovoltaic. So, on a solar photovoltaic panel, direct sunlight is incident and we get electricity. Similarly, in solar thermal, on a flat plate collector or on a concentrating collector, solar energy is incident and thermal energy is produced. So this is a direct application of, that's how direct application of solar energy is achieved. In indirect applications of solar energy, biomass and wind are these two categories. Biomass is basically cultivation of wood and other plant matter due to sunlight, because biomass is cultivated because of photosynthesis, and photosynthesis happens due to solar energy only. So this becomes cultivating and generating biomass becomes indirect application of solar energy. Another indirect application of solar energy is wind. So due to the non-uniform heating of the surface of the earth, wind is generated, and then we are making use of kinetic energy of the wind to run the windmills and wind generators and get electricity. So let us first concentrate on the one indirect application, that is biomass. So in biomass, pellet fuels are heating fuels. So these are made from compressed biomass. In earlier days, wood was directly used as logs, but the combustion efficiency or burning efficiency of the order of 1.5 or even less. So that was very inefficient and crude way of using the biomass energy. Nowadays, compressed biomass is used, which is more efficient. So those are called wood pellets. Wood pellets are made from compacted sawdust. Then palm kernel shell, coconut shell. So wood pellets are produced using this raw material. Grasses can also be pelletized, creating grass pellets. Pellets are manufactured in several types and grades as fuels for electric power plants. So you burn those electric pellets in boiler, produce steam, and then run a power plant. These pellets can also be used in homes and other heating applications. So these pellets, these are the pellets. You can see these are the pellets. Pellets are extremely dense and can be produced with a low moisture content. So the pellets have moisture content less than 10%. So which allows them to be burned with a very high combustion efficiency of the order of say 20-25% efficiency they can burn. So pellets can be produced with low moisture content, as we have seen, that allows them to be burned with a very high combustion efficiency. Now these pellets, again this is a photograph of pellets. So these pellets are fast becoming popular as a low cost fuel. If you inquire into the market, you will see that the cost of the pellets is 15 rupees a kg. So as against LPG 60 to 70 rupees a kg. There is no comparison of cost per kg of the biomass pellets, because the calorific value of pellets is much less than the calorific value of LPG. So 1 kg of LPG will give us 42 to 46 megajoules of energy. However, 1 kg of biomass pellet can give you 10 to 12 megajoules per kg. But the cost and availability is very important, particularly for small boilers and small water generators, hot water generators in industry. The scope for small pellets is increasing. So there is a huge potential for pellet making from corn residues. Corns are cultivated and then those are harvested. Corn cobs and corn residue is a great concern or a great headache for farmer to get rid of, how to dispose that corn residue. So there we can make pellets, there we can make use of that agricultural waste and convert that agricultural waste into pellets. Sugarcane, green sugarcane residue also can be used to make pellets. The observation is that this biomass, agricultural waste, is available for 4 months in a year. So accordingly, we have to set the logistics. This is just a photograph of an industry in Nagpur which is using these billets. The bigger size pellets are called billets. These are the chemical industry is using billets as a supplement fuel to the boiler along with the coal. So you can see this is the coal which is being fired in a boiler. Along with that, this biomass is also being fired. So there is a great relief on this fossil fuel consumption. So these are the billets. Big size pellets are called billets. So these billets are fired. They find industrial use. So billets are manufactured in these extrusion, with the process of extrusion by extrusion process. Again, this is a snapshot of pellets. Now, what is the scope of research and enterprise in the biomass field? Students can take characterization and testing of biomass. If you take biomass from a certain agricultural region, say from Western Maharashtra or from Solapur, maybe Nagar, from Pune. So the characteristic of biomass, say moisture content, calorific value, compaction factor, these characteristics are different. So characterization of biomass in each region and then making the pellets of them and then testing those pellets, it becomes a very good project, rather a very group of projects the students can take on characterization and testing of biomass. Characterization, what does characterization mean? Characterization means finding out the calorific value of the biomass. Pellet, finding out the calorific value, moisture content, fixed carbon content, oxygen content. So if with these projects such a data is generated all over for Maharashtra, it will be really helpful for estimation or for designing of the thermal equipment. So this is just an idea I am giving. Those who are interested, they can be in my contact for further guidance. Another project which can be taken is, suppose a farmer, suppose you own a farm of say 1 hectare, that is 2.5 acres. So annually you are growing some corn, you are growing some sort of a crop, you are taking some sort of a crop. Then certain agricultural waste is being generated. That agricultural waste is not being accounted. How much ton of agricultural waste is generated and how that is being utilized. So no account of that is being kept. So if a group of students or a group of researchers or a single researcher can take a project of conducting annual biomass audit at the farm level. Suppose 3.5 tons of biomass is generated annually in a certain farm level in Solapur. So how that 3.5 tons of biomass is spent, whether it goes waste, whether it is used as a fuel in a crude manner, in a rudimentary manner, or it is going for a pellet, or does it creating any revenue source for that farmer. So that sort of audit is very important at the farm level. Let it be at the hectare level. Then all such projects can be integrated to create an account at the regional level. So this is again conducting annual biomass audit at farm level is a very good project which will help society, which help the farmers to generate some revenue from their agricultural waste. Now pellets are always in demand. So pellet making is important. For pellet making currently you need a press, you need an extruding machine, you need electricity for that. Can my friends imagine that in a certain farm, a farmer with say 2 tons of biomass, he produces his own biomass pellets. He keeps those biomass pellets in the stock, and whenever time comes, he sells the farmer sells the biomass pellets. So starting with this idea, starting with this you can say proposal, manual crushing, because intervention of electricity must be least at the farm level, because electricity availability is erratic at the farm level. So if the students of engineering, they start designing crushing of, first process in pellet making is crushing of biomass. So crushing requires electricity. Now how come if you design a small biomass crushing machine which is a manual, like currently those cutters are available for feeding to the cattle, okay, so a more refined form of that machine. So there is a great scope for manual design and manufacturing and testing of manual crushing of biomass machine at the farm location. So once the biomass is crushed, it becomes easy to make the pellets either by a hand press or maybe a small extrusion machine. Currently, manual crushing is very important. And again, in that manual crushing, design of a cutter which takes a range of crops from corn cobs to the sugar cane leaves. So a range of biomass is fed to that cutter. So my engineer friends need to design the cutter, a stainless steel cutter which is used for that biomass crushing. So this forms a very good project also. And above 3 projects also can be culminated into enterprise, a small enterprise at the regional level. after manual crushing, after getting some success in manual crushing, one can go for manual pellet making machine. This is again there is again a great opportunity of business in manual pellet making, because on the backdrop of erratic availability of LPG, these pellets are always in demand for commercial applications. For example, hotels, resorts, or other small restaurants. Pellets, they are always always need pellets. So pellets are always in demand. So there is a scope for this enterprise. Well, if a certain group of students or a certain researcher or a certain group, you can say, they are not interested in making machines, designing machines, or going for engineering, they can take pellets from those who manufacture the pellets and establish supply chain for the pellet supply. Because pellets may be available in a rural area. So we have to hunt, we have to see the locations where pellets are available, and then where those are needed, where is a market for the pellets, and then establishing a continuous supply chain of pellets. This is a great enterprise again. So this can also be taken as a project first and then may be converted into an enterprise. Then estimation of resource potential at the regional level. This is a research project. Those who may be interested in post-graduation or maybe graduation, they may take this project. Estimation of resource potential at the regional level. Like say in 1,000 hectares of this region, how much, what ton of biomass is available, what are the category of the biomass, softwood biomass, hardwood biomass. Accordingly, the amount of energy available, and accordingly what supply would be there, that can be estimated from the outcome of this project. Then there is a challenge to generate renewable power at smaller capacities. See, these pellets can be burned into a boiler, and then that boiler can generate steam. That steam may either be used for power generation, or for small capacities the steam can be used for process heating. But at small level, using biomass for electricity generation is still a challenge, particularly in the capacities from 2 kilowatt to 50 kilowatt, because small boiler for electricity generation is not affordable. So there is a challenge to generate renewable power at smaller capacities from 2 to 50 kilowatt. And I'm underlining this, emphasizing this because of the challenge. Now there is always a scope for hybridization of different energy sources. Suppose a certain industry has a plant building. That plant roof, on that plant roof, photovoltaic panels are installed. Those photovoltaic panels are generating electricity. And then the industry is, say for example, industry is related to food industry, which is generating say 5 tons of biomass per month. Then that 5 tons of biomass is a source of energy. So that 5 tons of biomass can be used to run a boiler and generate electricity. Now electricity from biomass and electricity from PV, that can be combined to supply to the need of the industry, and then the need for the requirement for the fossil power, fossil electricity or grid electricity will be reduced. Same thing can be tried for wind also. Suppose a wind generator of say 10 kilowatt is installed. It is generating power, and then how that power can be combined with a biomass generator or a PV. This is a great challenge. Hybridization is a great challenge before the engineers. So these are the items where research and enterprise can be done. We will continue our discussion in the sessions to follow. Thank you very much.